Right. Well, welcome everyone. I hope you are staying warm this January. Happy New Year to everyone. Hopefully, you all have a lovely holiday and had fun celebrating the new year. I'm excited to start to plan my next chapter now that I graduated from college. I'm taking a look at my schedule and life that makes plans for things that I want to do that are important to me, like advocacy and public speaking. So I walked across the stage at UIC with the Applied Health Science class. I am now working with the Engage Illinois and in partners and policy making to make change for inclusion, community outreach, and learning how policy can make a law. Now I am working at UIC Nursing Department. They asked me to come back to work there and with that still doing standardized patient acting and that is being an assistant. That's fantastic. Today, I would like to welcome Tyson. Tyson had a co-presented at a workshop together on person-centered planning for the state before COVID. He is a wonderful person and a great advocate. He has accomplished so much in his life, and I'm looking forward to this time to learn about everything. Welcome, Tyson, and thank you for joining us today.
All I can say is a pleasure being here, Bridget. Thank you for having me today.
Well, I'm glad that you are here. Can you tell us about what you're doing now in your life?
Right. Well, right now I work for the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities. They've been an organization in Illinois for a very long time that has helped peoples with disabilities such as you and I. And I've just been so grateful to be a part of that team. Um we've been able to get a lot of things done that helps people with disabilities being able to be seen um as a very important people within Illinois society and
Hmm.
abroad. Uh I usually Well, so far I've had 2 years working with them, and I usually meet with them once every other month. In fact, I'm going to be meeting with them soon this month on the 21st because there's very important legislation that's being passed as we speak by the governor of Illinois.
That is true. I heard about that. See, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Here you're working with Kamosha Shader on the
Yes. Yep. I'm working with her. She's basically the chairwoman of the ICDD, and we've both actually we basically co-founded a board um to discuss that piece of legislation um which is aimed at gradually getting rid of 14C within the workspace so that people with disabilities can have a fair chance at being able to work at the jobs that they like.
That's wonderful. When we met, you did a person-centered plan, and then you went on to college. Can you tell us about that experience of doing a person-centered plan?
Right. Well, that definitely opened me up to a lot of possibilities and a lot of chances moving forward. So I believe this was either junior year or senior year that I got to do a person-centered plan. And it really helped me being able to open up to different people, let alone my family, because when I started talking about what I wanted to do, um, going to college wise and maybe even further out afterwards, um, yeah, they were pretty surprised with what I had what I had to taste for myself and what experiences I wanted to that I wanted to experience for myself. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there were a lot of people, including yourself, Bridget, that had that same feeling when going into your first person-centered plan. Um, it it really does help out kind of just mapping out what you're wanting to do um in your life, what you have done in your life and what it's taken to get you as far as you've gone in life and how it could help you now and then.
That's wonderful. In what ways do you advocate for yourself?
Well, I've already mentioned me being a part of the ICDD as well as being a co-chair um for the fight against 14C. Um, I also have some times with ties rather with the NDI, the National Disability Institute, as as well as working with people in my home city as well as in East Moline as well. I go down to East Moline twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And sometimes we do some advocacy work. Sometimes there's time in the field to work in and be able to get paid. Um, Also activities that we get to plan out for all these organizations that I'm either a part of or I co-chair. Um, oh yeah, there's been a bunch of ways so far that I've been able to advocate for myself, and definitely looking forward to see where all of it takes me.
So they're like doors that are open for your next chapter. So that's a
Sure.
great thing. Do you have any college experience?
So I was at the University of Iowa for 2 years. I was part of their REACH program, and the REACH program does a 2 year certificate deal as well as two extra optional years if one were to want to stay a little longer in order to in order to get more experience under their belt. Um, that that experience for me has definitely been a life changer. Would I say that it's been a life changer compared to other things that I've experienced in my life? Um, I guess it's all up to interpretation.
Mhm. Did you live on campus?
Yes, I did live on campus. There was a building actually specifically that we got to live under. All of us in the REACH program. Of course, rooms, or rather the floors would be separated by gender. But uh, but yeah, we did get to live on campus. Though of course, um there were some that after the 2 weeks that felt if they wanted to, they could live off campus, but still nearby. Of course, I didn't get to stay long enough to experience that, but yeah, we did get to, from what I experienced, um, live at the campus site.
What is um what is one of your favorite things about college?
I think the best part would be the meeting all the new people that you get to be with those 2 years,
Mhm.
or 3 or 4 years, depending on if you take those optional years. Um, it was it was definitely a strange adjustment thing, because if you because you go to school, or at least I would assume, for like 12 years in your hometown before you go to you go to college, and then there's all of these new people from all over the state, sometimes from a completely different state or country that you know that you probably have never even uh you've never met before. You've never heard of the places um that they tell you they've been from before. Um, but it's a it's sort of a double-edged to that. Though those people you may have never known where they've come from before, but at the same time, it's fun to learn about those places and to become really good friends with those people after. Some of those people I'm still friends with to this day.
That's wonderful. You presented with me a number of years ago, and you were a great public speaker.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you enjoy public speaking?
Oh, absolutely. As many times as I hear people um, wow, you are so good at this stuff. Yeah, like you you must have like no fear going into this stuff because there's a lot of people that are afraid of public speaking. But you know, it there is a tinge of fear every time I go up on a stage or I'm on a podium or whatnot. But there's always a sense that there's a part of you that is left on that chair that you were on before you go up that onto that stage. And then whatever follows then is what you end up becoming once you really get into the rhythm. I experienced that feeling uh, uh, in high school and in certain summer classes that taught um, that either taught public speaking or that
Mhm,
either um were based off of plays or musicals. Um,
mhm,
that's where I really got my inspiration to really conquer that fear um, on a different sort of stage. So yeah, I've really just felt that each speech that I would be giving as a play, and
mhm.
y- yeah, all those tips and tricks that I've learned from that, um, going up on that stage and then translating that to the podium, I would like to think at least has helped me a lot. I'm not sure if that would be the same experience for everybody else, but that's what it's been like for me, and it's been very enjoyable.
Wow. Enjoyable is something really good thing to
Oh yeah,
make you feel out and have confidence.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so there's two questions about advocacy, if that's okay if I ask you those two questions.
Of course, go ahead.
What are some ways you advocate for others and are a self advocate as a leader? Advocate. So, like, self advocate leader. Like, what some ways would you give advice to others?
So one thing that I've learned about myself going through this journey was just how shy of an individual that I was before I really um, found my voice, especially with the person-centered planning, and then eventually starting to advocate for myself, and for others, of course.
Um,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
there's just, yeah, there's a inherent barrier for some people that will, um, that will make them hesitate on what they want to say, make them, um, maybe rely on others um for assistance or to find their voice or to be their voice. That was me some time ago with my family before
Mhm.
I learned that I loved giving my opinions in front of a podium, in front of a stage. Um but once you really start getting comfortable with being yourself and speaking up for yourself, speaking out for yourself, um, that will um, that will hopefully bring you far. And once you find that voice, you really do start. Um, I feel like that's the moment when somebody starts becoming a self-advocate, and eventually, if and when that individual starts applying themselves in that sense, they eventually become a leader, like I've been able to. So
What
that's
is
my two
your
cents at least.
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm done now.
I wanted to wait until you're done talking. You're just so interested in like talking about your life. It's a great thing.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. What is your main message to people when you give talks?
Right. Um, my main message really, and and I even say this to the people that I've been working with the ICDD and NDI, even though even though they've probably not been in the same boat that I have, and they've probably had better luck in their lives. Hence the reason why these organizations have existed in the first place. You shouldn't have to be afraid of being yourself. You shouldn't have to be afraid of letting yourself be out there. And you definitely shouldn't have to um let others determine who you want to be. to be fair, I
Mhm.
I was in that boat um before that person-centered planning, before I really was finally like, okay, I'm going to tell everybody what I want to do, who I want to be from now on.
Mhm.
Um, once you're able to, um, excuse me, once you're able to, uh, really find that crack in that glass ceiling, and you're able to break through it, if you're able to, you know, be comfortable uh
Mhm.
with being able to show yourself, show your personality, show what you think to people, then yeah, that would be my suggestion to people is to find that which makes you you and to not be afraid to show others who or what you are.
That was the next question I was going to ask, but thank you for that. What do you
Yeah.
what do you want to share with educators and support people that is helpful as a self-advocate is finding their own voice and planning their life?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. I guess I did answer that question a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Um, yeah, yeah, it is just it really is just the most important thing to do that. But at the same time, um, yeah, just don't be afraid of especially around family. Like if you can if you can be brave and find your own voice around family and planning your life around family, letting them know what you want to do. Like, they want to support you. Family does want to support you, but they won't know what you want if you're not willing to let them know what they want. So once that barrier's down, then everything else will be, at least I think, will be a cakewalk for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you will have that support um from your family, and then friends of the family uh will be able to help you out as well, and then the support group will just grow and grow and grow until you find yourself a a stable a stable group of people that want to support you throughout your life and be able to um, assist you with anything that you want assistance on. That being said, yeah, it's a first step that is going to be um it's a first step that's going to be nerve-wracking for people at first, but once you really, start getting into the groove and finding that voice, not being as nervous about being yourself, then you will absolutely go far in finding your voice and planning your life from there.
When you started your person centered planning, Tyson, were you nervous?
Oh, absolutely. It in fact it took me a couple minutes to just start like saying what I wanted to say, because it really was like a guessing game between my family and the one that was in charge of the person-centered plan. Even though I was supposed to be the one technically that was in charge, but it it did just take a while for me to finally speak up on what I wanted to do in life, and then I was like, oh, I want to go to college, but I don't want to join Black Hawk like everybody else wants to. I want to go somewhere that I know will give me a higher education and that will treat me like who I know I can be or who I am. And then then after that, that's when the whole conversation started really winding up. And then I finally able to give my 2 cents on what I wanted to do. It was I was absolutely nervous, but eventually after like a couple minutes or so, I finally found that was the whole experience there.
So before we wrap up, I have 2 more questions, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've enjoyed answering them.
Well, thank you for being here.
Of course.
Would you tell what would you tell educators on behalf of students with disabilities?
Mm, that is a very good question. Educators that were more than willing to listen to um, peoples with disabilities, especially from my perspective. But yeah, I would say like even though like because we do still have schools that provide special needs classes to peoples with disabilities. Let's not be um ignorant of that fact. But to those teachers, I would say not to take it easy on us, or rather to treat us as you would. I would have them treat them as they would any other student, to be patient with us, to listen when we need listening, to if we're struggling with a subject or two, or if there's or if there's struggles outside of the classroom that's affecting what goes on within, speak to us like you would any other student that's under your wing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to help us out truly, you don't because I think there is a nervousness between educators and support people towards peoples with disabilities because they're so afraid of doing the wrong thing and saying the wrong thing to us. But yeah, just if there if there are some things that we need assistance on, don't be afraid to come up to us like any other student. There might be some things that will be more obvious than others. Some maybe even completely invisible, but that um that should not that should not you that should not have you be nervous towards us. We are good students just like any other under your wing.
What we have started referring to self advocates as a self advocate colleagues. What do you think about that?
I I love that. a lot. Um, there's yeah, it definitely gives the whole um we're in this together vibe. Um, once you start adding colleague to the self-advocate label. Um, you know, there's there will be some people that would prefer the old way of um of calling people self-advocates. Maybe adding colleagues to it wouldn't be to uh to their liking maybe,
Mhm.
but hon honestly um I've got no opinion on the matter. I think it's a good thing if people want it. If people don't want that additional title to this label that already exists, who am I to stop them?
Mhm. What fun stuff do you like to do?
So I don't know if you saw the shirt that I was wearing, but
That's
this
really
is
interesting.
uh this is a shirt that yeah, this is a shirt that has the six dice related to tabletop games.
Mhm.
I'm a I'm a gamer at heart. Video games, tabletop games, on occasion with my family, I would get together with them, play board games and card games and the like. Um, heck, that's one of the major downtimes that we have around the holidays is card games, especially with the extended family. Um, yeah, and I'm I'm just a gamer at heart is what I'm getting at.
Well, you like me. I like games myself, so I like
Yeah,
card games and board games and word puzzle kind of games. So,
yeah, definitely.
thank you so much, Tyson. You have blown me a- away completely because you helped a lot, and being involved, having you on here gives you really good impact to others so they can learn how to be a self advocate just like you.
Of course, and I really want to thank you and Nancy Brown for setting this up. Uh I really am grateful to be here with you today and to have shared a little bit about myself with you and everyone watching.
Hi, Tyson.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I don't know if you remember me, but
That's my mom, and I have a different background.